All right. So next up, we're gonna have Quadfather fighting against Pokelam. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. So if you chose any villager to fight, this is, I believe, want to say it's Pokelam. Really want to say it's Pokelam. Pokelam plays a lot with wisdom, from what I remember. I'll have to ask him, or if he's in the chat, let me know. So he's definitely familiar with how to use the projectiles against Duck Hunt. I think the one thing that he doesn't do is I don't think he abuses the gunman if you happen to use that. If you do use gunman in this matchup, I'll know instantly if he's looking for that or not. As a villager main if you're playing Isabel, gunman is like the only thing that you're looking for outside the normal cans. The thing is, it's like him pocketing can is kind of a very neutral thing. Like he technically has ways to combo into it, but it's very hard for him to do it. His biggest asset with that is going to be with the ledge traps. Ledge trapping with can is very, very good with villager, just because it kills so early. And not to mention, like, if he has the percent advantage, he can go for a trade and win off of that and kill you at, like, if he has max rage, like, Pocket Can will kill you, like, at 70 or 90%. It's kind of insane. Um, yeah, I'm assuming this is the villager that plays with wisdom. So he definitely knows what he's doing in the matchup. And if you don't know what you're doing against villager, then you're going to run into a lot of trouble. Granted, generally speaking, most villagers that you run into aren't going to know the matchup, and that's a very different matchup from a villager that knows it. If you don't know the villager matchup, but the villager knows the duck hunt matchup, that might be one of the worst matchups for duck hunt out there, just because villager has a lot of really, really easy, safe, unreactable ways to kill you if you're using gunman, and if you don't pick up on that, you're just going to die. And if he knows how to use camp properly to like ledge trap you and all that stuff, then that's going to be very, very hard to do too. The biggest thing that you want to focus on doing is you want him to consistently pocket can. So then that way, when he pockets can, you can instantly summon another can. And then that way, it also does enable you to use gunman. And if he couldn't pocket gunman, this matchup would be a lot better for Duck Hunt. But because he can, that's what makes it hard. So the second that he's committed to pocketing something else that's not gunman, that gives you free range to use gunman and actually use it as a pressure tool. And that actually does do a lot to kind of influence where villager can be. Like, he can't land on the ground, you might get free hits off of it. And then you're going to force him to jump, and in the air, as long as like you're somewhat near him in like mid range, you're always going to be able to like kind of out prioritize him, because fair and bear is a projectile, so you can just throw out a hitbox to beat that out. And then with up air, you can outrange his down air, but you do have to be kind of careful, because like I think it's only hit 3 that outranges it. If it's not hit 3, then his down air can beat you out, and it can keep very early, so you need to be kind of careful about that. Oh yeah, if the stick's starting to give out. I don't know if you saw this. I know I posted this around, but for all of you guys that are watching on YouTube too, this is actually good information for you guys as well. Something that's kind of neat is that Amazon Japan actually does deliver internationally, but they're somewhat limited. And if you can't read what they're saying, you can do like a translate to English. But for the most part, it should be pretty easy for you to tell what Amazon's doing. All of you guys have seen Amazon. But oh wait, did it stop? Because they did announce that they were going to get a restock of these, but they might have sold out. Oh, I guess they sold out. But they're still selling it for cheap. So this right here is about $27. It's a little bit cheaper than that. But yeah, there is a planned restock of GameCube controllers happening. They might have sold out of the pre-orders, but you can still order it for. You can actually still order it for $27. So if you do need a new GameCube controller, just like buy from one of these, and that way you'll get a new, like brand new, the stick is going to be very stiff type of controller, right there. Yeah, no, I would definitely advise in doing that. If you want a new GameCube controller for cheap, that's the method to go. Amazon Japan, you do need to create a new account with them. You can't use your existing Amazon account, but they do ship internationally. But there are some regions they won't deliver to. So you need to check if you're in one of those regions. If you're in the US, I think you're good. But I don't know about other countries. I'm not exactly sure what the status is on all that. Okay, so technically speaking, Pro Controller is the best one to use in Smash outside of the wire fact. The wire fact is like one of the two distinct advantages that GameCube has over the Pro Controller. Because with Pro Controller, if you're going to locals, not as much of an issue. But if you're going to larger events where wireless interference is a thing, and if you use the wired version of the Pro Controller, the wired version of the Pro Controller is actually slower than the GameCube controller by like 2 frames, I think. So a mostly negligible amount of like frame lag, but it's still something that's there. And like the syncing of the Pro controller is just always a huge issue. So if your controller goes off, you might like interrupt the middle people playing a match, which is always annoying. Or you might turn on your controller and they can't move on to the next part of the game. So you need to like make sure you resync it to your phone and all that stuff. But like layout wise, the Pro controller is technically the way to go because you got you got 2 shoulder buttons, 2 triggers. They're digital, which is better than the analog because you can't use the analog functionality in this game in Ultimate. And then if you like the bigger sticks, then that's better technically. But personally, I like the C stick being smaller just because that's easier to flick. But the thing that you lose with Pro controllers is the grooves. So the notches, to me, are very, very important, just so I know where I'm at on my controller. And it's much harder to mess up your directions on a GameCube controller with that. But yeah, no, I mean, outside of that, the Pro controller's perfectly fine. Even like for mashing, it's better too, because, like for example, if you're mashing, generally speaking, you only want to use the control stick. So when you do that, this makes a lot of noise. If you're using a Pro controller, this makes absolutely no noise. So it's much harder for your opponent to know that you're mashing if you're using that method. Obviously, if you're mashing buttons, they're going to hear that. But for that's going to be better. Yeah, I imagine your hands are like extremely large, so I can see the GameCube controller just like not being comfortable for you donuts. But with me personally, my hands are tiny, so GameCube controller fits in my hands like really, really nicely. 2 triggers and 2 bumpers. So those are not official GameCube controllers. Those are third party, and none of them match the quality of an actual GameCube controller. I want to say there was one that came close, but I can't remember which one it was. But overall, they're always going to be lacking in quality to the professional Nintendo ones. So if you have the chance, I would always recommend go with Pro Controller or the GC one. And some of the GameCube ones are banned, like the ones that you're talking about, because I think it's the Power A ones have macros, and you're not allowed to use a controller that has macros on it. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Button layout's not weird at all, dude. It makes so much... For Smash, it's like the most perfect setup for that. You got your giant A button, you got your B button, and then Y and X, and you're only using one or the other for jumping, unless you're dedicated to using one for grab. Your Power A is, like, I think, not the one that you want to use. But regardless, yeah, let's get into this. So overall, if you don't know the villager matchup, I'm going to assume you're going to get bodied. But if he knows the Duck Hunt matchup, he's going to body you. And if it's the other way around, the Duck Hunt can actually body the villager, but it's going to be a slow match. If the villager knows the match, that can be a lot faster than the other way around. If you know the match against villager, it's probably going to be slow, and that villager's probably going to blow himself up a lot with can. I don't think this one will. It's something you get used to. I mean, if you're not really used to using the GameCube controller, then, you know, it might feel weird. But, like, if you've been using it your entire life, it feels natural.
2, 1, go!
Yeah, so if you're using the gunman exclusively to block the load rockets, that's good. That's good, because, like, especially with that one, he's not getting past that with, like, anything. Oh, that was very bad. That was really good spacing on his part. I honestly thought he was going to get hit by a shield can. You also have to remember that their grab is super, super laggy, so you have a lot of time to punish it. To give you exact frame data. Yeah, so his grab comes out frame 14 to 16, and then it lasts for 43 frames. So you have like about 30 frames to punish him. It's quite a lot. Yeah, overall, your gunman usage... If Pokelam was looking out for it, he could abuse that, but you're kind of using it in areas where it's a little bit harder for him to do that. And then it's like, your can is like, your can have the ability to punish him a lot of times, but you're just not pushing it against him. Oh yeah, you need to be careful. The second that he goes there, you just gotta dip to the other side and then just air dodge in. Like there was honestly zero reason for you to get hit by that. He gave you a lot of time to just move out of the way. God, that was really slow. Honestly, like, what part was it? It was like, there's a part where you could just grab him. Oh, I know, he did an air. Yeah. Yeah, again, like, I don't know why you didn't just go for the shield can setup there. Like, you just had to press it one more time. Unless you had, like, Wi-Fi. Yeah, see, that was good. Oh yeah, that's something I should mention, is that if he's doing that landing fair, you can actually just like press side B, and the slingshot actually will not break the clay pigeon if it gets, as long as you're getting the weak part of the hit, and then it'll just go ahead and punish him. And then if you land a clay pigeon on him, you'll do a lot of damage. Yeah, just run away from cans whenever you see them coming near you. That's bad. Yeah, that's not a position you want to be in. Yeah, something you need to keep in mind is that the back air is actually very strong up close to him, even fair. So you need to, like, you kind of need to wait for the hitbox to go through. I think the other thing, too, is that I think there's technically a physical hitbox on the part that's closer to him. Show you what I mean. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how this works. So I think this part, I don't think you can beat out this part with an attack, but I might be wrong. And then when it comes here, then it becomes like a projectile that you can beat out. Do you know if that's true, Donuts? Like, is this considered a projectile or not? Because if this part's considered a projectile, then we could just fair right through it. If it's not, then yeah, you have to respect this part. All right, thanks, dude. Yeah, but either way, just a general thing. Just wait for the attack to go, and then you jump. So, like, I guess we'll go back to that sequence. So I think you just grabbed. So if he's over here, this is when you hit jump. Just because at this point you're only going to get hit by the weak shot, and he doesn't have anything that he can actually kill you with at that point. But yeah, you did standard get up, and that's kind of where you went wrong. Because jump allows you to move so much faster and like respond to every single thing that he does. And you'd be about up here, and he would only be able to jump about here. So he wouldn't be able to technically kill you unless like you fared into him, and then you get hit by the strong back air. So if they ever like retreat to this roll distance, make sure you're doing jump, just because that gives you the greatest amount of control in order to get back to stage. Because like if you jump here, you can immediately do a double jump to get around him. You can throw out an attack. You can air dodge, and all these other things. So like you just have way more mix-up opportunities. Where if you do standard get up, you're kind of locked into shield here, and you just can't really move too much. Same kind of goes for roll 2. So yeah, that's kind of where you messed up. So the big early hit is a projectile, not transcendent or anything. Okay, cool. So yeah, actually, if he's ever just spamming the slingshot, you can drop down jump fair, and you should be able to go right through it then. No, I mean that was a hard one to get the bear on. Also, like, wait, let me point this out. So that F tilt, from what I remember, is actually pretty minus on shield. Let me get the exact frames. Yeah, F tilt's negative 16 on shield, so you actually had time to like grab him, down throw, and potentially get the up air to kill him. No guarantee because you can always DI out of it, but if you didn't, you would kill him. So remember that. And then once he commits to that, like he used his double jump, so you can just like full hop up air him. Yeah, like that entire time, like if you face backwards, you could just jump back air him or jump up air him. Yeah. And he did try to end you. Oh. Blue Flare, thanks for the follow. That was actually a pretty good recovery by him. But like to just kind of give you like micro things that you can do to get around these things. So you had a gunman set up. So if you like turned around, jumped right, like did a full hop here, waited for the explosion, then you could have landed with like a back air here. And then that would have killed him. Yeah, you got way too comfortable with your wall here. God, when did you start that up? That was so funny. He just ran up and axed you. Thanks, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was already right here. Like when you get like this is. Like, okay, mid-level duck huts, this is such a huge trap. Like, when you throw out a can, like, somebody just immediately want to spam that gunman. And the second that they spam that gunman, it's just, like, they're stuck in a cycle. So you can, like, pretty much bet, like, 70% of the time if they throw out can, a gunman's going to come out. And then that just allows them to do this. That's rough. I think you're going to live that one, though. I think it looked like you're trying to roll away or run away or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean... Honestly, though, I do have to say, I think part of that was conditioning on Pokelam's part. Well, you definitely weren't watching him. I think if you're watching him, that wouldn't have happened. But this entire time, Pokelam actually was not approaching you. Like, he was consistently camping you out and just pocketing the cans and stuff like that. And then he basically threw that out at the last minute, so that way you were way less likely to be ready for him to come up and do that axe. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would taunt if I did that. He literally just ran up and axed him. Like, that is definitely taunt worthy. So yeah, now overall, I do have to say this. I don't think you played the neutral that badly. For the most part, your spacing was pretty good, and you didn't throw out, like, besides that last one, you were throwing out in gunmen in positions where he had to specifically be looking out for the gunman to take advantage of it. No, I'll put music back on. And he wasn't exactly, he wasn't really taking advantage of that. Like, Pokelam is somebody that understands aspects of the matchups, but he does not fully understand the matchup. Like, he knows enough to play it. But, like, if he understood, like, how insane Pocket Gunman is, this matchup would have looked very, very different. But because he doesn't understand that yet, that was kind of the reason why it looked like a little bit more even. A lot of issues come down to you not committing enough with your can punishing him, not really finding the right openings when he was like getting around and landing, not controlling him in the air. Like, for the most part, you controlled your can in the air well, but you weren't specifically challenging him, and you weren't taking advantage of the fact that Slingshot is a projectile. So if you do throw out a hitbox, you'll be able to beat it out like that. And if you time your clay pigeons well, which for the most part, that was bad. Your clay pigeon usage was kind of random. Like, if you timed it from when he was like landing with fair or bear, then your clay pigeon would go through it, and then you would get a free punish on him, and you'll kill him pretty early for that too. After that one time you got bowling balled, you cleaned up your recovery, so I don't really have any issues with that. The main thing is, at least when you're on the ledge, just make sure you're watching where your opponent is so you can react to them properly. Obviously online, so maybe when he did that bear landing over here, there was just some like online lag that prevented you from reacting properly. Yeah, like I think like if there's one thing I can definitively point to that needs work, that would be it. Understanding the clay pigeon usage better was another one. Understanding how to deal with Sing Stop better. Like, you weren't getting hit by it that often, but like I don't feel like you had a solid answer to it. You just kind of knew how to make it not really a problem. Yeah. Because I mean, if Villager is pocketing your can and you rush in, like he's gonna kill you at 90% because of pocket can. So like if you're not confident, that's not a bad way to play it. Like just play absurdly safe. Like if you didn't understand the matchup, I don't disagree with the way that you played it here. It's just that when you did have like the kill confirms on him, you just weren't able to get it. Like I remember you got like a clay pigeon over here, and you could have technically done the bear to kill him, but you went for the second clay pigeon, and I don't think you really need to do that. What do you think, Ducka's on the tier list? Yeah, so I don't know. For the life of me, I don't understand why Leo put him there. But let me finish up this before I get to that. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Do you have any specific questions about Villager Quadfather? And then Blue Flare, I'll get to your question after that. So all these things are recorded, so I don't wanna crowd this with too many other things. Also, for the person that was asking about a controller, something that I would also recommend waiting, like if you're a diehard GameCube person, I would say definitely take advantage of the restock on Amazon. Pushing Bear and Fair. You want to ask about that? Okay, yeah. Turning on my Switch, so hopefully nothing weird happens. So yeah, the main thing that you want to take advantage of is the fact that it is a projectile, and he actually lands with a decent amount of lag. Like, it's not the reason why it feels so safe is just because of like how far away he does it. Like he lands with 14 frames of landing lag on both Fair and Bear. But however, if he does land this move correctly, like you get hit with like the strong hitbox and then he lands, it is -3 on shield or -4 on shield. So that is important to remember. Lloyd Rocket, not really. It's just that it's going to take care of your gunman. So sometimes it'll force a special down. So when you get the special downs with Lloyd Rocket, that's really good. But like other than that, it's just something that's there. And not only that, but you can block it with like can and all that stuff. Like Lloyd Rocket is good in the sense that it's going to force Duck Hunt to respond to it in some way, but you have way more answers to make it not a problem than it actually being a problem against you, if that makes sense. Oh wait, not that. We want gameplay. No, not that one. God, I have to do this. Hold up. Let me just like reconnect this and hopefully it works. With him hiding behind the tree? I mean, the tree's not really an issue. You just kind of outcamp it. Hold up a second. Okay. So let me know if anything weird happens with the audio, or it starts glitching out. But yeah. Oh, what were we talking about exactly? Yeah. So the thing with the villagers, yeah, you can outcamp him. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. But like something that like I kind of want to get across is let's put on steal moves. And let's put on speed. What frame is this move? Frame 10. Okay. So like from here, let's say villager is going to Do his forward air, and then you see this, and then you decide to toss a clay pigeon. So actually, for the most part, he's gonna probably have like a decently hard time trying to get that down. But yeah, if Villager's like jumping around like this, he's probably going to be spamming this move. It's just kind of a fact of life. If he's this far away from you, he might set up a Lloyd Rocket. Actually, that is one thing I should mention. If he does decide to do a Lloyd Rocket, you can't actually clay pigeon right through it, but like obviously he can also pocket it too. And it'll generally just like be an auto punish. So you might be able to get like some extra shield pressure that way. So if you do think he's going to throw out a Lloyd Rocket, clay pigeon is something that you can throw out to him. And the other thing to mention too is that if he does pocket Lloyd Rocket, clay pigeon, that's kind of a useless projectile for him to have, just because it does the least amount of him. It does the least amount for him, because like he can't even combo off of it as far as I'm aware. Like I think it's just a little bit too laggy. Wait, did the thing not stop working? It still looks fine to me. So, yeah, let's just have him pocket this. And like, I think like realistically, that's all he can really get. So. So like, let's see, even at low percents. Let me see if I can get like a jump fair with Villager. Okay, so he can at least get that if he's up close. But like if he's this far away. Now. Yeah, like he just doesn't get too much of a reward off of it, and that's kind of like the biggest issue. Where it's like if he get, let me see which gunman I get. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Nope, not that one either. Yeah, you don't want that one as Villager. So like if he pockets this one's scary. Like if I was at like 90%, that probably would have killed me. So like that's the main thing you need to be careful about. There's a Falcon at 28. Okay, I'll look at that too. No, you can't do double pocket pigeon. That's just not going to really be a thing. So yeah, like clay pigeon, if you want him to pocket something, that's what you want him to pocket, just because like he doesn't really get much of a reward off of it. So in a sense, at least for that, like if he's specifically always pocketing your pigeon, that's not really bad. That's what you want. Because like if you're at because otherwise like the alternative is like he pockets can, which can's not bad just because he has no control over it. Like if he pockets this is all he can do. It's never going to change from that. And if he's not careful, then you know. That happens. So like he takes 23% off of one can. Like it's absurd how much damage that thing does. Let me see. What's the earliest that he can kill me with that though? Like I want to say he can kill. I want to say he can kill us at 90 with that. So. Oh yeah. No, we're more than dead. Let's try 70%. Like this thing kills super early. Yeah, 70% it kills you. Like, that's how much knockback that thing does. So that's why he also needs to be careful too. So like, let's say you do this, you throw out a gunman, and then he just blows himself up. Like those are things that happen all the time. Like one of my favorite things that villagers always do to themselves is that they'll jump, they'll do this, and then they'll walk forward, and then they get hit by it. Killing with pocket pigeon? No, that's never gonna happen. Like, oops. Like, see, look, I took too much 2% for him to even, like, combo off of fair. So, like, that's why pigeon's the absolute worst thing for him to pocket, just because like he legitimately gets nothing about that. But yeah, so like let's look back at Fair and Bear. Hold up. Now let me. Oops, I didn't time that properly. Let me see if I can get this to work. I'm doing it too late because I'm not taking into account the jump squat. Okay. Nope. I was one frame off. Okay. Oh, God, I'm so bad at this. Okay, hold on. No! Oh, I got one frame off again. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Yeah, see, okay, now you get to see. So this is the strong hitbox. You didn't get to the weak one yet. And now you're able to hit him through. So if you do see him, like, jumping like that, you can challenge it. But the main one that I want to show off was the landing one. It's just, you got to be a little bit more proactive on your part. And so at this part, Villager can't shield, so that you can get like a free pigeon off of that too. So let me start one here. Yeah. That gonna work? Okay, cool. So yeah, that part, yeah. So Clay Pigeon's able to go through the slingshot there. So that's one thing that you can do to villagers, especially depending on how they like to land. Sometimes they'll just like be spamming that for a while, but sometimes like they'll land and then they'll do like a Lloyd rocket or something like that. So look at their patterns with their slingshots, and then figure out where you can throw in those Clay Pigeons. And also remember that you can just use an aerial to beat it out. Like an easy way. Actually, like, kind of an easier way to deal with this is, like, if you just did, like, jump nair. See, like, there, you just beat it out there. And then you're going to be able to just, like, punish him like that, too. So, like, if you have slingshot in neutral, you can also do that to just, like, kind of negate the hits. But keep in mind, our nair hitboxes suck, so that's not going to be entirely consistent. Like, here, I think, yeah, the pot's clanked there. But there are little blind spots on it that he can get through. So keep that in mind. You can also do this to just get through the... You can do this to get through the... You can do this to get through the nairs, and then you can just get in and punish him like that too. So that's another technique you can use. But yeah, no, overall, you want him to either pocket the Clay Pigeons or the can, so then that way he gets less control and he doesn't get anything like disgustingly crazy with the gunman. And unlike Can and Clay Pigeon, Gunman can't be used against Villager, but Can and Clay Pigeon can be, so he needs to be careful about how he throws that out. So those are kind of the reasons why you want him to pocket those things. I did see there was another question from Blue Flare, at least. Oh, Boss Sauce, okay. Yeah, so in terms of him dealing, like standing behind the tree, a tree's kind of not a problem. Like honestly, if you wanted to be really lazy about it, like you could just like keep Clay Pigeoning it, and then because like you could literally just keep spamming this if you really wanted to. And like even if he pockets your Clay Pigeon, as you saw, like it doesn't even go around it. So that's kind of one thing you can do. You can also like do Can And then if he decides to do it, he has to jump over, because if he doesn't do that, then it's going to look like this. Oops. Oh wow, didn't blow it up? Huh. Because I know you can definitely get it to blow up on there. Oh. I guess he has to do it from the top then. Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, like, the tree's not really going to do too much for him. It just kind of... Oh, it's doing that stuff again. Yeah, hold up a second. Yeah, okay. I think the game stream I think is going to be dead. Oh wait, no, it's working. Okay, yeah, I think we should be good now. But yeah, no, overall, that's kind of the main thing that you want to do. Just wait out the tree. He's going to approach you eventually, and then you can just, like, the thing is, like, it's harder for him to do damage to you than it is for you to do him, because you have Can, so you could just summon Can and then, like, throw out Clay Pigeon. And then, like, you can even have, like, your gunman shoot the Can, and then that way he's not going to be able to pocket your gunman, because, like, your gunman stops at the Can part. You might just have to ping the Can, though. So yeah, use all those things in your mind, in your arsenal, and then he won't be able to camp behind the tree. You'll deal with the slingshots better, and then you just kind of have to look at the pattern of that, and then you'll be fine. But the other thing too is you have to know if he can use pocket or not. If he can't use pocket, always push the Cans on him so you can freely use your gunman, or the Clay Pigeons, but mostly the Cans, because if he catches Clay Pigeon, he's probably going to immediately throw it back, because that's kind of the best thing for him. And then, try to make him blow himself up. Those are kind of the main things. All right.